Hi everyone, thank you for being part of another episode here at Hire.fire.inspire. I'm your podcast host, Lizanne Dsouza, founder at Lizanne Careers. We're a recruitment agency based out in Mumbai, and we specialize in hiring for brands across the country, for industries including FMCG, fashion, lifestyle, digital agencies. We specialize in hiring for marketing roles specifically. Today, I am going to be talking about something quite interesting that a lot of people come back and ask me questions about. We're going to be talking about the kind of questions you should be asking versus the kind of questions you shouldn't be asking at the end of the interview. Now, through the years of me being a recruiter, I have been part of a lot of interviews. And for people who listen to my podcast, you'll know that I've not always been on the recruitment side of things. I've also been a job seeker at my time, and I do understand the pressure that doing a job interview can bring, and how nervous and how nerve-wracking it can be. There are a lot of things to keep in mind before going in for the interview, and not doing your research or not knowing about your interviewers, not knowing about the organization can actually intensify that amount, that the nervousness that comes while you are doing the job interview. So in my last podcast, I've given a few tips on how you can make sure that you know enough about the company, research enough about the interviewer. All of this is going to put you in a better position and make you feel a little bit less nervous about doing that interview itself. So today we're going to be talking about what kind of questions to ask during the job interview. And I'm talking about applicants. Once you've been asked all the questions, you're always asked, do you have any questions? What are the kind of questions that you can ask? So first of all, asking questions to an interviewer during an interview shows that you are interested, enthusiastic, and it also shows that you are considering a long-term future with the organization. Okay, ask questions related to the job itself. This shows that you've done your research and are someone who knows about the industry. And that's what all employers want to see. They want to hire people who are well versed, who are following trends, who know what's going on in the industry. Ask questions that show that you're curious. Everyone wants to hire somebody that is curious and wants to know more about their future. So job seekers that don't ask questions during the interviews, have known to be labeled as people who are not interested or maybe not even bright enough. And we've had recruiters that have admitted to that's how they feel at the end if the applicant hasn't asked any questions towards the end of the interview. So then, what are the questions that you should ask versus the questions that you shouldn't, right? So I've listed a few down right now, okay? So ask questions that can give you an edge above the others. How does this role add value to the organization? Is a great question to ask rather than asking, what does this role entail? The latter shows that you haven't really read the job description, which if you listen to my last podcast, I've said how imperative it is to go through the job description, know the role inside out before you go in for the interview. So it's really, really important how you frame this question. You want the company to know that even though you've done your research, you'd like to know more about the job. Ask questions that show that you are interested. For example, you can ask questions like, what are the weaknesses and strengths of the organization? Rather than saying, what does the company do? Again, the latter shows that you haven't done any research about your potential employer, right? If you are applying for a job over here, the idea is that you want a job here. So if you ask that question, it just looks like you haven't done enough research about the organization itself. Ask questions that indicate that you are looking for a future with the organization. Asking, what are the future plans in terms of expansion for the business over the next 6 months is a far better question than what is the growth opportunity for me? The second one sounds like all you're concerned about is your own growth. And every company wants someone who's going to come in and add value while they're there. Ask questions that help you understand the culture. again, if you've heard my podcast before, you will know that fitting into an organization is so important, because last thing you want is to leave your current role, start a job somewhere else, and then realize, oh my god, this is not for me, or I don't get along with the people, I don't resonate with the kind of culture that they have. So please ask questions that will give you some indication of the kind of culture that this organization has. So asking a question like, what are the company values when it comes to their employees, rather than asking, what does the team do for fun? The second one sounds like you're more interested in the fun stuff than the overall team culture. So make sure that you word the questions properly. Remember, an interview is a two-way conversation, and asking questions will only ensure that the dialogue is smooth flowing, and this is your chance to make an impact as well. So guys, the next time you are going in for the interview, remember these points. Try and put down at least a couple of questions before you say bye. Don't feel that you can't answer it, because like I said, this is a two-way conversation. Your potential employer wants to know more about who you are. This is a chance for you to make an impact and make sure at least that you're shortlisted for the right reasons. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. As you know, if you want to get in touch with us, you can always send us your resume at jobs@lizlannecareers.com. There are several ways to get in touch with us, through LinkedIn, through Instagram. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with us. And I'll see you next time. Bye.